Hi traders, and welcome to our Trade Mastery channel, designed to help you turn your trading around and give you some new strategies. In this episode, we're going to look at the psychology of trading and how to get out of the equivalent of the friend zone. You may have heard of the friend zone when it comes to personal relationships and dating, how to not be a friend and to progress into something more. Well, there's similarities in how you do that and trading, and we're going to take a look at that in this episode coming right up. So now let's take a careful look at how to escape the friend zone when it comes to trading. Now, you may be familiar with the friend zone in personal relationships, meaning if you become close to somebody as a friend or a colleague and you're not able to make the relationship progress to the next level, there's a lot of perfectly horrible advice out there on YouTube videos about making things go to a next level or a next step in a relationship. That's terrible advice. Usually you get to know and respect somebody for who they are, and if you're a friend, you're going to stay a friend. You're going to stay in the friend zone. You're not going to make a relationship out of something that's more than a friendship. Similarly, as a trader, you don't want to try and force trades that you get into a trade. How many of you have done this? You get into a trade, and what happens is it just goes sideways, or it may starts to go immediately against you. And then you want to hope for the best, and you just sit there and wait and patiently tick-tock, wait for the trade to start to come back to life and run up for you. Usually it doesn't. That ends terribly. That ends badly. Same thing in like personal relationships. If you're in the dreaded friend zone, for a laugh, look at some of the YouTube videos on how to escape the friend zone. You get a lot of horrible advice from guys who don't know how to relate to women. If you're friends with somebody, respect the boundaries and don't push. If you're a friend, you're likely to stay a friend. Don't try and make more out of it than it is. People do not change. When it comes to trading, traders often don't change as well, and they try and stay in a plateau or in a stock that's in consolidation or an instrument that's in sideways consolidation and hope that it's going to keep running up. Most of the time, I've done thousands of real money trades, it will not do so. Usually, the truth of the matter is, good trades are good right from the start. So usually you get into a trade, it starts to break out to new highs, then you're in play, then you're in motion, and you're able to make a successful trade approach. What happens more often than not with newer traders, and like how I used to trade back in the 90s, is you get into a trade, it goes up a little bit to get you interested, and then it goes sideways. And then you just wait around, and then eventually goes down and you get stopped out. What I'd like to offer as an alternative approach is next time you're in a trade, always keep this in mind. Just like a good date or a personal relationship, things will progress very quickly. It's very binary. Either it's going to work out or it's not. Good trades are usually good right from the start. Bad trades, not so much. And you don't want to be, that guy that's stuck in a friend zone waiting forever, hoping that someone's feelings will change or whatever. I've been in the friend zone back before I got married. I've been through lots of situations with some wonderful women, both as friends and as more than friends in personal relationships. And what I found in my own personal life is that if you're kind of labeled as a friend, or you start a relationship off as a friend, usually that's all it's going to ever become. So don't try and make more out of it than it is. Respect it. Move the heck on. If you're out there dating, trying to find somebody, if they see you as just a friend, that's likely not to change. People don't change their behavior, their perceptions. As a trader, if you're in a trade and it doesn't move for you quickly, get out sooner and go to cash rather than stay in the trade and hope for the best and think things will work out. If you just wait, maybe someday things will change. That'll kill you as a trader. Maybe someday things will change is language of a losing trader. And same thing in personal relationships. If you're in a relationship with somebody as a friend, accept it for what it is. If you need more from a relationship than that, then that's what another person is for. So move on, right? Don't stay around and overstay your welcome with people that don't respond to your signals that you send. And same thing with your trades. If you're in a trade that starts to work out, but then goes sideways, go to cash. There's always more fish in the sea, or more trades that you can take. Think about the last time you were in a trade that went sideways. And that happens more often than you may think, especially in this market, right? Our S&P's been in a slight decline lately as I've been trading myself. I'm recording this here in early July 2017. Markets are going down and choppy, so most of the charts are doing the same. You have to find exceptional charts, like Weight Watchers. WTW has been a rock star chart for us the last couple of months, but those are the exception and not the rule. What you'll find is, similarly, in personal relationships, I've dated many, many women back in my single days and had a lot of experience with a lot of amazing people. And I've been friend zoned maybe 3-4 times, maybe 3 times I'd say in a friend zone. If you go on a first date or you get to know somebody on a personal level and it doesn't go further than that, don't wait around hoping it'll change. It virtually never does. Same exact thing is true in your trading. If you get into a stock or ETF or E-mini or Forex pair, whatever you're trading, and it starts to go in your favor or it just goes sideways, goes in your favor and then goes sideways or just goes sideways right out of the gate, that's likely all you're going to get out of it. So it's better to what I'll do is I'll tighten up my trailing stop, let the market random noise take me out, take a small stop, put the money into a new breakout stock and go for the best in that one instead. And so kind of a similarity or parallel there between, it just comes to mind as I was watching some of these funny YouTube videos. There's terrible advice out there about women and dating. I was watching for laughs. I was wondering what people are telling these, especially the young people out there. And they're saying, here's how to escape the friend zone. You got to be more aggressive and do all this and be willing to risk the friendship. And terrible advice. You have to respect what a person says to you. And if they say or they act as though, the behavior is such that we're great as friends, let's leave it as friends. Don't try and push for more. It's likely not going to ever occur. Guys, we're kind of binary. We meet somebody, either you like them for a certain thing or not. You put them in a friend category or more than friends, and it's very quick. The same thing with women. It tends to be very, either your friend or your, friend or colleague or your romantic interest. But you don't try and mix the two. There is no gray area and there is no migrating from one to the other. So accept it for what it is. In your trading, take your trades at face value and be very binary, very on and off in your trades. Either it's going to work out or it's in that whole category of stuff that doesn't work out. Charts that go sideways, charts that misbehave and go against you. Of all the thousands of real money trades and millions of dollars worth of real actual trades, I'm a real trader. I've done over the years, the last near 20 years. What I found is that good trades are usually right from the start. Just like a good relationship is right from the start. Anything less than that usually ends badly. It ends terribly. So as a trader, kind of from a personal, analogy from, dating and personal relationships, things will click right off the bat. Women show you signs. They'll, gently touch your shoulder. They may play with their hair. They may call and respond to your text or emails more frequently, or initiate phone calls and ask you out for dates and all that kind of stuff. That means they're interested, which is great. That's really easy to see. The behavior shows itself. If you're in a friendship relationship with a woman, you don't see any of that stuff, and so you don't try and expect that there's ever going to be any more. That's for personal life too. For those of you who may be younger, and I could probably start a whole new dating channel with advice. I've dated hundreds of women, very amazing, wonderful women I've dated, and been married almost 20 years now, and that's worked out great because it's a lot easier. But the point is, lessons learned from that can also be applied to your trading. And one of the things you'll find is that good trades, like good relationships, kind of click right from the get-go, and the signals are there. Anything less than that, newer people, like what I was back in the early days of trading or dating, you're kind of in a state of limbo and you wonder, what's going to happen? You're not really sure. You can't do that. You've got to be in charge of your own trading life and your own personal life too. If the signals are there, you act on them. Anything that's ambiguous, which is the big thing that I struggled with for years as a trader, and in my early 20s back trying to figure women out too, it's ambiguous signals are usually a bad thing, and you're best to avoid. Move on. Move the F on. Move the heck on. And in your trades, if the signals are anything less than strong, if your P&L, unrealized P&L number, isn't clicking up nicely in a trade that you're in and you're not making money with the trade, I like to go back to cash myself because I'd rather put that money to work in something else that has better odds. when it comes to people and relationships and situations you're in. You want to put yourself in a variety of situations and give it a chance to work out, but if it doesn't start to show positive results almost immediately or quickly, then usually you don't want to waste your time with it. You got to move on to the next person or move on to the next trade. So let me know, post in the comments and questions below if you'd like to see additional analogies between, say, personal life, which I've got a lot of experience with, in romantic situations, and dating. I think there's a parallel, or when it comes to the integrity and the authenticity, the type of work ethic of people. There's a lot of analogies to that with trading as well. You know, good, hardworking, strong, honest, disciplined, focused people who are action-oriented will consistently produce for you and work well with you. They respond to their emails quickly. They are considerate and polite. They're very capable technically in what they're trying to do with you in a teamwork-based environment. Same thing with your stock charts. You know, the problem with trading, the biggest problem with trading, millions of dollars worth of trades I've done, is the choppy charts or the pullback charts or the misbehaving charts. Just like people, you go on a first date, remembering back in the day, you go on a first date, there's going to be red flags if they're not a good match for you, like they're rude and they're on their cell phone, or they're not engaged, they don't make eye contact, they look distracted, whatever. That's kind of a bad sign. If on the other hand they're leaning forward, they're asking you questions, their pupils are dilated, they may be playing with their hair, or they're touching themselves or touching your shoulder or whatever, that's usually a good sign of engagement. Same thing with your charts. Whenever you're in a trade, you'll see signs of success in the chart by virtue of the prices going up. I'm a price action and volume, but mainly price action professional breakout trader. That's what I do. So, you know, if I'm in a trade and it's anything less than what I expected, I don't go on a second date with it. I go to cash, right? So think of it like that. You're dating these stocks. It's another good analogy. You know, we don't use Tinder or matchmaking apps on our cell phones for stocks, but it's the same kind of thing. You may have a list of people that you chat with or send emojis to or talk to or whatnot, and you've got a wide choice when it comes to trading your instruments, trading your stocks or ETFs or minis or forex or whatever you're trading. You also play the field, and the ones that start to progress for you, you go on a second date with, or you add share size or lot or contract size to winning trades. You start to go back to cash, or stop returning their phone calls, or don't text them, or don't contact them anymore if they're a person that's not responsive or isn't your cup of tea, or isn't meeting your expectations. So the main thing I want to get you at is to focus. If you're in a plateau as a trader and it's one step forward, two steps back, you have a small winning trade, but then two stops to take it all back and then some. Change it up. Trade different instruments for different time horizons. Because good trades will usually work out right from the start. Anything less should be dealt with a lot of discipline, action, and focus, so that you go back to cash and protect your capital. Your capital is like your soldiers, and you put them out there into the battle of the markets, and you want to bring them all back safely with some extras, you know, to pay you for your trouble and time in the markets. So you're making winning trades. You don't send your capital out into the market and watch it get slaughtered and repeat that over and over again. At least not if you want to be trading as long as I've been trading, 2 decades or whatever. So if you want to make it as a trader, look at it like getting out of the friend zone as well. If you're in the friend zone with a person you're interested in and they're not responding, move the heck on. Don't sit around and waste your time, which is your most precious asset. Even if they're the most wonderful person in the world, if they're not for you and they're not interested, they're not going to be interested. So don't waste your time hoping and waiting. Just find someone else. The world's full of people. The stock market's full of stocks. If it's not producing a winning trade for you out of the gate, get out of the friend zone from a trading standpoint and just move on to a different instrument. Don't sit around there and hope that chart will finally work out for you. That's a good valid analogy, speaking from personal and professional experience. So hope that gives you some food for thought. And again, if you like this, give it a thumbs up. Post a few comments down below. If you have any questions, I like to answer questions or comments. Subscribe to the channel if it's your first time. And I'll see you in our next episode for our TradeMastery.com vlog. I'm Ken Calhoun, your host, wishing you the best. And until next time, trade with passion. Trade with really tight stops. Get out of the friend zone as a trader. If it's not working out, go to cash, trade something else. Move on.